Well, for another update on the Devil's Metal Silver, and I'm going to give a takeoff date for when I think silver's actually probably going to take off. What's going to be a pivot point? September 12th, 2012, and I got specific reasons I'm not using tarot cards, but I saw something on YouTube using tarot cards. That was pretty good. I like that. You might as well use tarot cards versus sometimes using charts. Now, I ain't knocking charts, okay? Not knocking charts, but it depends. If you're getting into them a little too much, it's probably a lot of BS, especially if you're only recommending physical coins. Charts are for traders, mainly for traders. Like, for instance, if I knew silver was going to go up to $37 by next month, hey, I'd be betting triple leverage all the way or something else, and I'm making some bucks. But I don't know that. The damn thing's sitting flat. But I'm going to state a little later why I think September 12th is going to be a pivot point date with silver. But let me get on with something else. John Corazine and MF Global. Now, there's some things I actually like about John Corazine because he's got a real true passion for what he does, in that respect, in some ways. I don't totally like him or nothing, but I kind of like the fact that he's very passionate about what he does. The guy's a real trader, man. He's not like, he's not like somebody up there in a loft someplace, away from the action. He's into it. But you know what happened? You know what's going on? Nobody's getting in trouble at MF Global. Yeah, for real. Nobody's getting in trouble. Yeah, surprise, surprise. But I'll give you what the reason is and stuff. But, this is a reason probably to start getting the hell out of brokerage accounts maybe next year or sometime. I don't know. Whenever you get your gains or whatever the hell it is, stuff it in a mattress for all I know, or keep it in a credit union or whatever. Play the safe route because I think, if this nobody's getting slammed for anything anymore, and that tells me that's just going to encourage things to happen even more. So the reason MF Global, it looks like, they're going into the final stages. Nobody's getting charged with the $1 billion of theft and all that stuff on that bad bet on the Euro bonds or whatever the hell he did. And they stated it was really a problem with, lack of controls, porous controls, sloppiness, that type of stuff. So, I found this out too. There's a lot of people. Well, pretty much everybody I saw who was a very good entrepreneur, as the expression goes, entrepreneur that gets into intrepid, dangerous areas. Besides being BS artists and stuff, they're very good at creating confusion because confusion leaves no trail as to what their actual intentions are and stuff, and they can talk their way on anything. So that's a lot of ways you want to not have. In one way, you want to know accounting, and you want to know what's going on because you want to know where you're making money. But in another way, you want enough confusion that if something goes wrong, you can always play dumb. You can always play dumb. I shouldn't say too much about this because it reveals too much about. That's why I don't know if I even want to ever get out of here publicly, for that reason. But you got to remember that is the standard modus operandi from what I've always seen. So they play like semi-sloppy and confused, and that's the game that went on with MF Global. Well, they got a lot of shrewd lawyers there, so you like I said, you can argue anything. You always wonder how the hell you can get out of something. There's always a way, because plotting and planning is the whole game. Now, I show charts once in a while. I think the charts are kind of like, I don't know, like unless you're a trader, I don't know what the hell people even bother with the charts too much for, because it's a point of interest. I agree with Fibonacci more than anything as far as actually forecasting silver prices, and I agree with a lot of other basic things sometimes, but the charts don't tell you a hell of a lot of times. But the thing is, if you're just buying silver and stacking and cost averaging and you're into physical silver, I don't know what detailed analysis on charts actually does for a person of getting into that stuff. What the hell it does to it for a person? Not really anything. So, I'm not going to actually get into any kind of stuff like volume MACDs or anything like that unless they're MACDs stuffed in a bikini top, or MACBs or MACCs or whatever. So that's about all I got to say about that stuff. But, as far as September 12th, what's coming up? Two things, and I'll get onto that right now. On September 12th, the German Constitutional Court will issue a preliminary ruling on the legality of the European Stability Mechanism, the ESM. Now, some professor in Germany brought this up, and wants it challenged in court. He basically wants the whole damn Euro structure challenged in court and stuff. And it's being challenged by some smart people, a professor, So, I don't know what the hell the ruling's going to be. It's anybody's guess, but you could see other things coming up. Here today, it's getting late in the game. It's August 16th. It looks like Spain and Italy, or Spain especially, probably is going to be asking some more type of bailout and stuff too. And the only way they're going to do this is to print money. They're going to shore up the European state. The whole thing hinges on this. So I don't know. This is either going to go one way or the other. Now, another thing that's coming up is there's another Fed meeting on September 12th and 13th. So depending on what happens in Europe with this constitutional ruling and also showdown between Italy and Germany, there's like a lot of crazy events happening right around this time, all coalescing. Then you got the Dutch government basically saying, let's get the hell, certain parties and political parties that are saying, let's get the hell out of the euro and stuff. You got, Mario in Italy saying, a bunch of things against, Germany, and that they're doing this and that. And then the Germans don't want to be in a damn euro in the first place. The average German doesn't want to be in the euro in the first place. So it's almost like this policy of austerity might get reversed pretty soon. And if that happens, the metals are going to take off. So I'm looking at two key events right around September 12th, 13th. Well, September 12th and 13th is the FOMC meeting. And Bernanke has actually been doing a real micro mini QE. He's already went out into the open market and purchased some securities for $600 million. I think it was in the beginning of August. I think it was August 2nd or whatever the hell it was. Basically testing the readiness of the system. Now, so you add that together with, the German Constitutional Court ruling. And, they could come out with some ruling that's, I don't know, probably, you need a team of experts to figure out, what the hell did they mean? Did they say yes or no, right? One of those deals. So, I think this can create a lot of turmoil. And, I don't know. To me, I think this is a pivotal point coming up. I smell QE coming up because there's already a stealth QE going on. That's why you might see things start creeping up a little bit. Now, I want to mention something about Bill Gross, PIMCO Bill Gross. He's the guy, the guy that's the expert with the bond king and all that stuff. He was mentioning about the equities markets having a severe correction in the United States. And he's catching a hell of a lot of heat for saying that, Now, a reason actually, he's catching a hell of a lot of heat from more like the mainstream for saying that. And the reason I think, say it was true, say he's 100% accurate that the equities markets are going to have a correction. You want to leave the chumps in there as long as possible and let them get slammed while you pull out and short. The insiders pull out and short. You don't want the masses to run out because that exposes the game and then the game don't work. So, it could be that angle. That sounds like, well, that's not too conspiratorial because that's what happens all the time, actually. But it could be that he's right. And I think he is right because I'm looking at stuff. The PMI data, I'm going to say the several things again, but the manufacturing data for even the United States, which is probably cooked numbers, they're all going down. Europe's going down, China's going down on all the manufacturing data. Commodity prices are depressed because production stinks in manufacturing. That's another indication. And, you got the Baltic Dry Index is down. And I stated the garbage index is way down, which doesn't agree with GDP, which doesn't make sense because there's always a super high correlation between the garbage index and GDP. So, like they said, this pivotal date of September 12th with the court ruling and what's going on in Europe as far as, even more bailouts and stuff and the FOMC meeting, you might see some serious changes start to take place. The investors, all the investors have been waiting for a clear-cut signal from Bernanke to like start QE. And actually what they're doing is shooting themselves in the foot because they're artificially pumping up the market in anticipation of what Ben Bernanke might say. And by them doing that, they're actually causing Ben Bernanke not to do QE. I bet. And even talk critics of Ben Bernanke too much. Like even good old Mike Maloney was like lambasting Ben Bernanke's policies, and I'm thinking to myself, don't do that, Mike. Don't do that. Let him do that, because that's the only way we're going to get this gold flying up to the moon, right? Him doing QE. So, I don't know, man. Yeah, everything else will go up too, but you'll watch the asset classes that'll go up the most. The ones that'll start taking off the hardest is going to be silver and gold, right? But, when this meeting comes up, we might see some kind of, when it's combined with what's going on in Europe and the challenges to the euro, you might see some words out there that come out that shore up the markets. Now, as far as today, nothing's going on much. Oil's sitting flat. It's going up a little bit. It's actually up to 95, but it's not moved. Nothing's really moving much today. But I also want to interject something about the energy sector. One thing that's coming up also, you might be surprised, even though natural gas prices are just suppressed right now because they got so many people that jumped on this, fracking technology with natural gas. Well, it turns out, they might be on the upswing now. They might be, because what it turns out is more electric generator power plants have switched from coal to natural gas because it's cheaper. So now natural gas is actually ahead of coal for producing electricity. So once you have a permanent customer like that, once they make the capital outlays to switch over to natural gas, you got a permanent customer, you got a permanent demand. You might start seeing the natural gas prices start increasing because natural gas has just dethroned coal as an energy producer. So that's another interesting twist. I might throw that out there because maybe that's a good time. I think actual gas at this particular point is probably a pretty good investment. Somebody, depends on when you buy it, right? But somebody, it's probably going to go up pretty good. But let's watch for the September 12th date, and also, if you got brokerage accounts, like I said, I'm probably not going to keep them that much longer. It's going to be months at least, but if MF Global and all its executives are getting away with this, all you got to do is just be sloppy and not have controls, and you get away with it. And if you have the right attorneys, that's the game, right? And tell you the truth, that's pretty much what I've seen. That's pretty much I've seen. It's like the guy could be the biggest crook in the world, and when he's confronted with something, he acts like an innocent 5-year-old boy, and acts like Santa Claus too, if you can combine those two. And I know the game, and people around very close to what goes on knows the game too. But that's how you got to play. So the whole game is mainly shrewdness, and those guys didn't become executives of MF Global by not being shrewd, did they? So watch all angles. And also, I just want to point out, a lot of people, boy, they don't like hearing this, but just even watch out from the silver crowd too. A lot of these people got, I don't know, they got another game. They got a game going on too. So, I'm going to keep up on these silver updates, but we might see a major turnaround, say mid-September, with a lot of Feds coming up. I know people are talking about it's going to be all up. Silver's going to be up by the end of August. I don't know. It's creeping up. I know that. But this, this next FOMC meeting might be very pivotal with other things going on. But also in the meantime, I'm going to kind of interject some cheap how-to videos on various things, and you know, I keep one foot in I guess you call it the redneck territory. You know, I do. I keep it all the way in that, and you know, when I realize when things really fall apart, your silver ain't gonna do you that damn much good. You got to really know what the hell you're doing, how to fix things when things are busted and nobody's there to tell you how to do it and the parts aren't available or whatever the hell it is. You're going to have to be totally self-reliant. I know a lot of people are just buying physical silver for a collapse. It's not even just like an investment. They're really buying it for a collapse. I know this. So, you know, if you're thinking like that, you know, don't just think about silver. So I'm going to probably interject some other videos on, you know, I don't know, it could be anything. It could be anything. But, you know, it's self-sustainability and survivability is going to be a key word. And I think that's a key word with the silver crowd big time. You know, you got to know how to do things on your own. No bullshitting around. So that's the most important thing. But I do have a very good handle on the mentality and attitudes of the guys on the top. I mean, you will like these people if you never met them. Well, I don't know if I've never met like Jordan Carzone, but I mean, a lot of these people are very nice people on the outside, and they just got a predatory instinct. You know, when it really comes down to it, they'll destroy the damn world before they lose money. That's the way they are, man. That's the way they are. I swear to God, a lot of people don't pick up on that shit when they meet them, but that's the way they are.